Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like and why you should listen to me. Also, if you learn something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please subscribe and please enable notifications. That would be your vote of support for all the effort that goes into the scenes behind the channel from me and my entire team. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the impact on states and how this actually impacts your life. US states across the country are facing the biggest cash crisis they've ever faced since the Great Depression. Now, keep in mind that states collect revenue through state income tax and through several other things that they do. But states have to spend money on roads, on local projects, on healthcare for local residents in the state. And the biggest expense for states is K through 12 education. So states are running significantly short of funds. In fact, many states are simply not able to pay their bills. You'll see this article on your screen from the Wall Street Journal, and the headline of the article reads, US states face the biggest cash crisis since the Great Depression. The drop in tax revenue has led to a total shortfall that's expected to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. By the way, House Speaker Pelosi, in the updated version of the HEROES Act, asked for $436 billion for states, and the Republicans had a counteroffer, which the last time we checked had $300 billion for states. And President Trump said that this was, I quote, a bailout of badly run democratic states. So the fact is, states are really struggling, and I'll actually help you understand the full picture in this video. So the hundreds of billions of dollars, the shortfall is greater than 2019's K through 12 education budget for every state combined, and it was more than twice the amount that was spent that year on state roads and other transportation infrastructure. This means that states are struggling badly. In fact, in this Wall Street Journal article, they started by highlighting the state of Connecticut because social distancing, lockdowns, and testing did indeed lower the incidence of COVID in the spring. But when Connecticut was trying to get back on its feet, the deputy of the comptroller, Kevin Lambo, wrote to Kevin, "We hit the brakes so quickly in the economy that we went through the windshield." Connecticut alone is projecting a total revenue decline of $8.4 billion through 2024, more than twice the rainy day fund that they had built up over the past 3 years. This is what the comptroller, Kevin Limbo, the comptroller of Connecticut, said. "All you can do is grip the bar as tight as you can, make the smartest decisions you can in real time, plan for the worst and be surprised at something less than the worst." Now, I want to prepare you for this. Assuming there is no further fiscal stimulus, assuming that there are further restrictions because of a second wave, a third wave on business and travel, and assuming that there are extra costs for Medicaid and high unemployment, both these costs, by the way, are burdens of the state because the state has to pay for Medicaid and the state has to pay for state unemployment. When you get the unemployment check, that's coming from the state. Assuming these three things happen, the prediction is that the US state budget shortfall for 2020 through 2024 could be as high as $434 billion. And this is according to data from Moody's Analytics. This is a significant amount of money. I want to be clear again, this is greater than the 2019 K through 12 budget for every state combined. And like I mentioned earlier, this is more than twice the amount of money that was spent on state roads and transportation infrastructure. This is according to the National Association of State Budget Officers. And all these deficits have already prompted many states to take action. I'll give you specific examples of states in the video. This has prompted tax hikes. This has prompted cuts to educations, cuts to corrections, cuts to parks. It's just been an unbelievable impact as far as states are concerned. In fact, state workers are being laid off and are taking pay cuts, and the retirement benefits for police officers, firefighters, teachers have already been slashed. And if you're a firefighter, teacher, or police officer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And Moody's Analytics actually projects that even after the rainy day funds are used, because remember, some of these states do have a balance of money, if you will, rainy day funds. But even after the rainy day funds are used, Moody's Analytics projects 46 states coming up short, with Nevada, Louisiana, and Florida having the greatest gaps. In other words, these are the states who will need the most amount of money. That's Florida, Nevada, and Louisiana. And Louisiana said that it may not have as big a shortfall as Moody's is projecting, but it is definitely going to have a shortfall. In fact, what is surprising is that over the past 90 years, there have been only 3 instances where state revenues have actually declined. You see this chart on your screen, which shows you the change in tax revenue for all states. And you can see that there were essentially 3 instances. One was 9/11. The second was a 2008 financial crisis. And state revenues are also expected to fall sharply as a direct result of this pandemic. Again, total state revenues have only declined over the past 90 years 3 times. 9/11, the 2008 financial crisis, and the 2020 pandemic. Here's some astonishing data. State workforces shrank 5% across the country from February, start of the year, to September. They shrank down to 4.9 million individuals. This is fewer people than at any point during or after the 2008 recession. This is data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The local government cut workforces by 6% or nearly 1 million people, and local revenue shortfalls are adding pressure to the budgets of states across the country. In fact, in Michigan alone, over 31,000 state workers were actually furloughed 2 days per day for 10 weeks, while others were temporarily laid off. A spokesperson for the state of Michigan said the temporary layoffs have indeed ended and none are currently planned, but that they could be reconsidered at some point in the future if the economic recovery got worse. Now on your screen, you see 2 charts. The first chart shows you the projected annual shortfall as a percentage of the 2019 revenue. I'll walk you through that. And the second chart shows you the projected annual shortfall after rainy day funds are used. Let's take a look at the first chart towards the top of your screen. In 2019, things were normal. Again, it seems like a different world, but things were normal and states were collecting the amount of revenue that they would normally collect. But states have not been able to collect that much revenue in 2020. In fact, they've seen a significant reduction in revenue because there is no activity. When you go to a restaurant and when you pay taxes, a portion of that goes to the state. Local taxes, the state collects money in many different ways. And by the way, if people aren't employed, which means people aren't getting paychecks, that means less money goes to the federal government by way of taxes, and less money goes to the state by way of taxes. Also, on top of that, when states have so many millions of people to pay for unemployment, states now essentially run out of money. So you'll see the top portion of the chart, which shows you the projected annual revenue shortfall as a percentage of 2019 revenue. Now, this is important. The darker the shade of orange, the worse off the state is, because the state is simply not collecting revenue. You'll see New York, for example, is facing a significant revenue shortfall. Now, a lot of these states do have rainy day money. A lot of them do have funds set aside for emergencies. So now let's shift our focus to the other chart closer to the bottom of your screen. And this is the projected annual shortfall after the rainy day funds are used. The problem is that some states are still going to be in a bad position even after their rainy day funds are used, simply because they have they have more of a shortfall. Now you'll see, interestingly, a state like Wyoming has a very large rainy day fund. So it seems like Wyoming, Indiana are going to be okay. But let's go back to the upper portion of this chart, and you can already see that New Jersey was raising income taxes on the affluent. Florida was hurt by the loss of tourism, and Illinois actually entered the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, the state was in a lot of debt. So after the pandemic, you're talking about a state with no rainy day funds. The state is in even more trouble. So this shows you that every state is at a different part of the financial trajectory, and different states are suffering to different degrees. Now, like I said, different states are handling this differently because different states are at different aspects of the financial journey, if you will. New York, for example, is projecting a shortfall of $59 billion through 2022, according to the reporting source that we use. You'll find the links, by the way, to all our sources in the description section below. So definitely check them out so you can dig deeper into some of this data. New York has held back payments for schools and social services, and New York has also postponed public worker raises. Missouri also has held back funding for services for the elderly and other programs. In fact, Florida's governor had to veto spending on a range of items, including a new state courthouse, trade schools, and appropriations for local projects. So you can see that this is impacting states nationwide. Now, I want to be clear. A few states have better financial control, if as it were. So a few states are likely to do okay. They're in comparatively good shape because of a good amount of savings, b tight financial controls on local economies, and their economies haven't been impacted by social distancing and by the pandemic as much as other economies. Let's say New York, for example. So Wyoming, for example, like I mentioned earlier and showed you on the chart, has a large rainy day fund compared to other states. Also, Minnesota and North Carolina have some of the highest credit ratings across the country, and they have a mix of manufacturing, education, and many other businesses that allow them to weather the impact of this pandemic more so than other states. Let's also see this chart on your screen that shows you the total state government employees, and you can start to see the huge dip in 2020, which is represented by the yellow line. And this is data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So states are actually letting government employees go, letting state employees go. And that's reflected in the numbers on this chart. This basically tells you how states are doing, the fact that some states are doing much worse than others, and other states are essentially able to get by because they were better prepared for a calamity of this nature. Now, this is indeed a political issue because President Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell are involved in this discussion. There's President Trump. Hello, President Trump at the White House, and there's Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, leader of the Senate. Hello, Senate Majority Leader. Both President Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell have said that they do not want stimulus relief funds from this pandemic to address long-standing financial problems. In fact, the president has said several times that he does not want to give in to Speaker Pelosi's position of, I quote, money for poorly run democratic states. One such state that President Trump was referring to is the state of Illinois. In fact, President Trump said in a tweet recently, why should the people and taxpayers be bailing out poorly run states like Illinois? The president said that. Why should the people and taxpayers be bailing out poorly run states like Illinois? And the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said in April that states should be allowed to file for bankruptcy to address the debt associated with their pensions and other financial problems. And like I said, President Trump said what he said about Illinois. Illinois, I just want to be clear, financially is struggling the worst compared to any other state, and Illinois needs billions in federal funding. The state has a $230 billion pension liability after years of putting off payments, and basically they need money. And they face an additional $8 billion backlog of unpaid funds. Since the pandemic started, all the liabilities of the state of Illinois combined are going to approach 45% of the state's GDP by June 2021, which is up from 35% in 2019. This is according to data from Moody's Investors Service. Just unbelievable what's happening in some states like Illinois. So there you have it, everybody. The significant difference of how different states are dealing with this pandemic, how the cash-strapped nature of different states is impacting the state's ability to fulfill their own obligations, and how this is different for different states throughout the country, and how this is becoming not just an economic problem, but also a political flashpoint. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, please check out the links in our description section so you can check out our resources on your own. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. If you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please ignite the subscribe button because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. And please enable notifications so you get instant updates from our channel going forward. Now remember, we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. You can get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000. You'll get added to our SMS alerts list, and you can opt out of the SMS alerts at any point in time going forward. Now, you can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts. And you'll get added to our email list. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time that you want. No worries about that. Please follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You'll get exclusive news and breaking alerts on Instagram. Speaking of breaking alerts, you can also get those on Twitter, and you can get those in real time, in fact. So follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. And finally, keep Keep in mind that YouTube does not always release notifications on time. So simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you can visit the homepage of our channel and watch any of our videos at any point in time that you want. If you learn something new from this video, please consider sharing this video with friends and family members. You sharing the video will be your vote of confidence in us and all the effort that goes into this channel behind the scenes. You'll find the link in the description section below to all our resources so you can dig deeper and analyze that content for yourself. Once again, please comment below, because you commenting on our videos allows you the opportunity to engage with our growing community, to interact with our community, because our community is something that we are extremely proud of. It's a highly intelligent, highly respectful community, and we are all deep thinkers here because we all want to know what's going on underneath the surface. Finally, please click like. Once again, please subscribe. Please enable notifications. Again, that will be your vote of confidence in us. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you. Bye.